It's no surprise Capcom loves Resident Evil 4 about as much as Bethesda loves Skyrim. The game came out in 2005 and 16 years later, we can still play it on modern game consoles. You can even play it on your phone. And with the recent trailer of Resident Evil 4 VR and speculations of a remake in our future, let's take a brief look at all the different consoles you can play RE4 on and its various ports. We'll be going through the games in order of release date, so we'll get to see how some of the ports evolved and devolved in some cases. Let me know your favorite version of Resident Evil 4 down below in the comments.
Resident Evil 4.
So starting off, we have the original, the classic RE4 experience on Gamecube, the very first release of the game back in 2005. We'll find differences depending on the regional version of the game, the North American version releasing first, being followed shortly after by the Japanese version. These two versions are pretty much identical, minus a certain death animation in the game. When Leon is killed by the crazy chainsaw enemy, in the North American version, decapitation occurs, and we can clearly see Leon's head drop to the ground. But this was removed in the Japanese version, which instead just has Leon's face slightly mutilated before he dies. The European and Japanese versions also feature an easy mode, not present in the North American version, which features weaker enemies. Leon starts out with the shotgun, and some puzzles and rooms are completely skipped. It's also worth noting that the German version has the assignment Ada and mercenary side modes left out. Later that same year, the PlayStation 2 port was released, having all-around decreased graphical fidelity due to the lower polygon count. Many lighting effects were missing, barrels that Leon breaks were missing a circular rim on the top, Ashley's skirt was no longer animated, among many other model differences. Almost all of the real-time cutscenes from the Gamecube version were converted into movie files in order to preserve quality. This means that even if you were wearing a costume or any accessories, Leon will default to his original costume for the cutscene. Though, rather than make a lesser port and leave it at that, Capcom made new content specifically for the PlayStation 2 release that would be featured in every other version afterwards. This included the Separate Ways mini-campaign, where you play as Ada, not to be confused with Assignment Ada. Ada's Report, which is a short documentary that unlocks as you progress through Separate Ways, the movie browser, which lets you rewatch cutscenes, and the PRL 412 laser gun that unlocks after beating professional mode. 2 years later, in May of 2007, the PC port was released, developed by SourceNext and published in the West by Ubisoft. Strangely enough, there isn't too much nice to say about this port. It's based off the PS2 version, so it includes the extra bonus modes as well, but that also meant using those pre-rendered cutscenes. It's also worth noting that this version has the worst graphics of all the ports, despite being able to run at higher resolutions. Upon initial release, the game lacked any lighting at all and was extremely buggy, making it a hassle to be able to properly play this release of Resident Evil 4. But being on PC finally meant mods. 2 months later, in June, Resident Evil 4 Wii Edition was brought into existence. And as with anything being ported to the Wii at this time, motion controls. The laser sight was removed, and in place of it, a reticle was added to help with aiming. A quick knife function was added as well, and motion controls were used for the QuickTime events. Other than these changes, to take into account the Wii Remote, the game remains pretty much the same, taking the superior visuals of the GameCube version and the extra modes of the PS2 version. You get the most definitive version of RE4 at the time. And now we've come to the mobile edition. Being a port for your phone, there are so many changes, I'm not going to list them all, but I will mention some of the major ones. The game is extremely shorter, areas and bosses being removed. All cutscenes are replaced by slideshows, barring the opening and ending scenes. The Iron Maidens aren't even in the game. The merchant only shows up before you start a mission. There's no ASCII section, and the list goes on. Funny enough, the mobile edition was originally developed for Japanese Nokia N-Gage phones, then again for the Brazilian Zeebo console, which is probably the rarest port of Resident Evil 4 to exist. Hell, I didn't even know this console existed until doing research for this video. I'm gonna let a little trailer play for the Zeebo version and you can judge for yourself.
6 years have passed since that horrendous incident. It was right before I was to take on my duties of protecting the president's daughter that she was abducted. Who would have thought that my first job would have been a rescue mission? I'm under the president's order to rescue you.
What? My father?
On the other side of the bridge.
Yeah.
Wait.
Then finally, the iOS version on the iPhone 3. Remember that thing? Yeah, the game here looks like a PS1 remake with its barely recognizable levels, abysmal animations, and PowerPoint presentation cutscenes. It gives off a certain nostalgic vibe, which is kind of cool if you ask me. Something about the low polygon count always makes things creepier for me. If you're still watching this video, I appreciate you so much. I know this is a bit different than my usual content, and it's always scary to try something new. So, thank you. Here's where the changes between the ports starts to slow way down. In 2011, Capcom released an HD remastered version of Resident Evil 4 alongside Code Veronica for the PS3 and Xbox 360. A special disc version of the two were released only in Japan called Biohazard Revival Selection. In Europe and North America, it was released digitally as Resident Evil 4 HD, based on the Wii version minus the motion controls, and included achievements and trophies. I remember coming home from school that day and buying both Code Veronica and RE4 on my PS3, ready to lose my entire weekend to those games. Next, in 2014, we have the PC Ultimate HD Edition, published by Capcom this time. This was to make up for the horrendous 2007 PC port. Again, being based on the Wii version, it includes all of the bonus modes, as well as allowing you to pick whether or not to play in 30 FPS or 60 FPS, improved HD textures, and the option to use filters. Various issues occurred at launch like slowdowns, constant crashing, and textures not appearing properly, but has since been patched. If you're playing Resident Evil 4 on Steam, this is the version you're playing. Along with mod support, I'd say this port is the best version to play if you've got a PC that can run it. In 2016, for the 20th anniversary of the series, we were graced with the PS4 and Xbox One editions, which can also be downloaded on the PS5 and Xbox Series X consoles if you're lucky enough to have one. Then, in 2019, it was ported to the Nintendo Switch alongside Resident Evil 1 Remaster, Resident Evil 0, 5, and 6. Now that's a lot of Resident Evil. And we're not even done yet. With the recently announced Resident Evil 4 VR planning to be released in October next month, as of this recording, and the remake speculation, that makes 11 ports of RE4 that you could possibly play. It's a bit insane how many times this game has been ported since its original release back in 2005, but super fans of RE4 will be set for life. If you enjoyed this video, Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And if you want to hear more about how Resident Evil games work behind the scenes, check this video out. And as always, take care.